Welcome back to the Ilea Analysis Podcast. Today we're visiting Allie's story parlor. Imagine waking up from a horrific car crash, only to realize the dying woman right next to you has your exact face.
Which is just like an incredibly intense hook right off the bat.
Right. And she uses her final breath to give you this mysterious passcode, 1121, and she demands that you take her corneas so you don't go blind.
It's so wild.
It totally is. If you are listening to this right now thinking, what on earth did I just tune into, you definitely want to stick around, because today we're doing a full exploration of YouTuber Allie's hilarious and just highly detailed story breakdown of the 2023 Chinese drama My Lethal Man.
Yeah, and while it might sound like, a super niche drama review, Allie's breakdown perfectly illustrates something much bigger.
Which is how to craft compelling character arcs and high-stakes tension, even when the plot logic is, frankly, completely unhinged.
Completely unhinged. I mean, on paper, the things that happen here shouldn't work at all.
Yeah.
They defy medical science, basic physics, just everything.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because as a viewer, your first instinct is to try and logic your way through the story.
Right. You want it to make sense.
Exactly. You have this woman, Yan Xingcheng, who dies and gives her doppelganger, Shen Manning, her eyes. I mean, it feels like a fever dream or like a really intense superhero origin story. How does a viewer even ground themselves in a universe that starts with doppelgangers and a literal dying breath cornea transplant?
It's a great question, and Allie addresses this right out of the gate with her primary rule for this show. She says, you have to leave your suspension of disbelief at the door.
You just have to drop it entirely.
Drop it entirely. Because the real anchor of this story isn't the plot realism, it's the intense psychological realism of the characters.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and that anchor is heavily provided by the terrifying male lead, Yan Xingcheng, played by Fan Zixin. If you don't buy into his psychological intensity, the whole thing falls apart.
So, assuming you, the listener, have accepted this wild premise, we really need to look at the central conflict, which is how Yan Xingcheng actually traps Shen Manning into this life.
Yeah, and Allie is very clear about this right away. Xingcheng is absolutely not the hero here.
Not even close. At his best, he's, well, an antihero.
And at his worst, he is straight up the villain of Shen Manning's life at the beginning. He is driven by a 10-year revenge plot to take back the Lanhai conglomerate for Xinyan.
Because her grandfather, the chairman, is in a coma, right?
Exactly. And Xingcheng has this deadly glare, these unhinged smiles. He recruits a hacker named Lin Kihakia, who goes by Fasha, and a strongman named Yuan Shuai.
So he's basically running a Black Ops revenge team. And his first move isn't to politely ask Manning to help him impersonate the dead heiress. He just completely bulldozes her.
He manipulates her on every conceivable level.
Yeah.
He gaslights her, bullies her, and most insidiously, he weaponizes her severe survivor's guilt.
Because Xinyan shielded Manning with her body during the crash.
Right. And Manning is literally looking through Xinyan's eyes now. Xingcheng uses that crushing guilt to force her to impersonate Xinyan at the company.
Oh, wait, let me push back on this. Manning is an educated art student, not a naive kid.
Yeah.
Wouldn't the threat of him abandoning her make her want to escape faster? I mean, this guy is a walking, talking red flag. Why doesn't she just run?
Well, it's counterintuitive, but it's a very real mechanism of coercion. Allie breaks this down beautifully. Manning is suddenly thrust into this massive corporate war zone by a man who looks like he could eliminate her without a second thought.
Okay, so she's terrified.
Right. But the specific psychological tactic Xingcheng uses here is crucial. He explicitly tells Manning that if she messes up, he will never come to save her.
Which seems like a terrible way to motivate someone you desperately need.
Exactly, unless your goal is to manipulate their psychological baseline. By convincing her that she is entirely on her own, he lowers her expectations of safety to absolute zero. It's a form of intermittent reinforcement. Later, when she's having a massive panic attack at the hospital, terrified of being discovered, and he does swoop in and rescue her.
The contrast is staggering.
Precisely. The sheer relief she feels in that moment creates a psychological bind. The brain associates the intense relief of safety with the very person who put her in danger to begin with.
Oh, wow. So she feels gratitude toward her own captor.
Yes, it's textbook trauma bonding.
It's so twisted, but the psychology makes complete sense. She is effectively a hostage. But relying on a partner when the foundation is just fear and lies, I mean, that's a massive vulnerability.
Oh, huge.
How do they actually test that trust when the antagonists corner them? That illusion of control has to shatter eventually.
And it does, and what Allie highlights is the major turning point of the show, which is the elevator DNA scene.
Oh my gosh, the tension in this moment just boils over. They're in an extreme time limit scenario, right?
Right. The antagonists suspect Manning is a fake, so they demand a DNA test. The vial of her blood falls, the elevator doors close, and Xingcheng realizes he has mere seconds before the doors open, and they are caught.
And he handles it in the most unhinged way possible. He rips off his tie, uses it as a tourniquet, and forcefully draws his own blood right there in the elevator.
Just like mixing it with hers to ruin the sample.
But the physical stress of that is nothing compared to the psychological break that happens next.
Right, because despite his incredible composure up to this point, the pressure finally cracks him. Manning is pushed way past her breaking point, and she just begs him to let her go.
She tells him to take the corneas back. She says she would literally rather be blind than live in this constant terror.
And then she asks him the question that shatters him. She says, can you bring her back to life? Or will you die in her place?
And I totally did not expect what happens next. This terrifying stoic mastermind actually breaks down and cries.
Because he can't. He realizes in that claustrophobic elevator that Xingyan is truly gone. He breaks his own unspoken rule of never showing vulnerability, and he's so disturbed by his own emotional leak that he leaves.
He drives off, but then comes back, throws Manning her passport, and tells her to leave forever.
He essentially releases his hostage.
But she doesn't leave. And this is the part I initially struggled with. She's packing, she finds a pin that belonged to Xingyan, and then she overhears the antagonists, Zhuang Jiaqi and his lackey Deng, plotting against Xingcheng and the comatose grandfather.
Yeah.
And she makes a choice to intercept these villains in a bright red sports car, like an absolute boss. But why go back after all that terror?
What's fascinating here is this shift from fear to profound empathy, which Ellie traces perfectly. Manning finally sees Xingcheng's humanity.
Because she saw him cry.
Exactly. She realizes he isn't this greedy corporate monster. He is acting out of profound, agonizing grief. He desperately wants to protect Xingyan's legacy.
So she sees the broken engine driving the monster. She volunteers to stay, but she tells him she wants to stay and protect him.
Which completely flips the power dynamic.
Yeah.
They are no longer captor and hostage.
They are partners, and he promises to let her return to her normal life safely in exactly 1 year.
Right.
So we've established Manning is a willing participant now, and we are going to dive into how this changes everything for them right after a quick word from our sponsors.
Stick around.
In Langley, British Columbia, lives one of Western Canada's best-kept secrets. We are Wild Education, Western Canada's largest reptile and small exotic animal rescue. And right now, we're launching our most urgent fundraiser ever.
Less than 1 year ago, we opened the doors to our brand new education center, a space we poured all of our savings into building. But due to changes in land development, we found out we only have 9 months to find a new place and move out. This will be the third time in 5 years we've been forced to relocate, and this time, we simply don't have the funds to do it again.
Unlike traditional rescues with puppies and kittens, reptiles don't get the same level of support. But our animals need it just as much because they don't have anywhere else to go. That's why we're asking for your help now.
Last year alone, we took in 153 animals, including reptiles, amphibians, and furry exotics like chinchillas, sugar gliders, ferrets, and even hedgehogs. Many came to us sick, injured, abandoned, or surrendered by families who could no longer care for them due to the rising cost of living.
One of those animals was Gary, a serval who couldn't find a home anywhere else in BC after his family broke apart. No one else could take him in, but we did. Because oftentimes, we are the last resort.
We are currently also home to 12 rescued sulcata tortoises, some weighing over 120 pounds. But we know more will come in this year, who need lots of space, warmth, and lifelong care. Wild Education isn't just a rescue, it's a mission. Our entire rescue is funded by our education program. This program travels to schools and other events to help teach about the natural history, conservation, and responsible ownership of these amazing animals. We give people the knowledge to hopefully prevent animals from ending up in our rescue in the first place.
But now, more than ever, the future of wild education, its current animals, its future animals depends on your support. We know it's a lot, but we're trying to raise $1 million to buy a permanent property. A forever home where we'll never have to move again. And where our animals can finally be safe for good.
So if you've ever wanted to make a big difference in the life of something a little different, this is your moment. Please visit www.wildeducation.ca to donate or click on the GoFundMe link. We need your help to save wild education so we can keep saving them.
And we're back. So, coming back from the break, we explore how this new partnership changes their day-to-day dynamic. I mean, we get to see Manning go full CEO.
She truly weaponizes the power of her new identity.
I was so surprised by her transformation. This terrified art student becomes a corporate titan. She chases down a fleeing CFO in the streets.
And solves a massive debt crisis using her incredible memory. Allie was just delighted by Manning's Yas Queen energy when she demotes executives and exposes bribes with absolute boredom on her face.
Just totally unbothered. And as she hardens in the boardroom, we see this fascinating softening in Xingcheng at home. To protect her, he moves into her bedroom for, quote, 24-hour protection.
The roommate era begins, and it creates a brilliant contrast. He cheekily suggests she could sleep on the carpet or in the bathtub.
But then you see these domestic acts of care. He picks out her shoes, he helps with her lipstick, and my favorite detail, she insists on tending to his sprained wrist.
Which reveals he has hundreds of injuries and zero self-care habits.
Right. He is a machine built for revenge, and she is the one forcing him to be human again, which leads to that philosophical moment in the garden gazebo.
Oh, yes. Xingcheng shares his worldview. He believes everyone is a crocodile in a deep pool, just waiting to tear you apart for profit.
But Manning refuses to be a crocodile. While they're planting flowers, she cheekily wipes dirt on his face. It's playful, but it's deeply defiant.
And that dirt wiping scene matters because it triggers his buried trauma, but it also proves her nature.
Yeah.
It earns his genuine trust because he realizes she isn't a crocodile waiting to pull him under.
Which they are absolutely going to need, because the show starts throwing the most unhinged life or death hurdles at them to test that loyalty.
Leading to some of Allie's favorite cinematic payoffs.
Yes, like the vault. The primary antagonist, Tang Lin, is determined to expose Manning and demands the code to the company vault, giving her a strict 90-second time limit.
And Manning actually remembers the 11/20/1 passcode because it's the date of the car accident.
But here's where it gets really interesting. There's a final security measure. It's not a fingerprint, it's a cornea scanner.
Right. Which, Allie told us to put a pin in earlier.
It is the ultimate Chekhov's gun. Chekhov's cornea, fired 10 episodes later. I mean, it is biologically absurd.
Totally absurd.
Cornea scanners for corporate vaults aren't really a thing, and the medical science of how transplants affect scans is questionable. But narratively, it is absolute brilliance. She passes the scan because she literally has the transplanted corneas.
It's a perfect example of leaving logic at the door for an incredible emotional payoff. And they do it again with the mango anaphylaxis scene.
The weaponized mangoes. Tang Lin brings a plate of mangoes to a meeting because the real Xinyan love them. But Manning is highly dangerously allergic.
So to protect Xingcheng's master plan, Manning eats the entire plate. She excuses herself, collapses in hives, and Xingcheng has to throw her in the shower to save her.
And when he asks why she did it, she simply says she did it for him.
Allie connects this to the bigger picture. These insane plot devices, like weaponized mangoes and cornea scanners, are extreme stress tests for the character's loyalty. The absurdity makes the emotional devotion feel that much more intense.
It really is ride or die, but just when you think you understand their dynamic, the show drops the ultimate twist. We find out Yan Xingcheng's true identity.
Right. Yan Xingcheng is actually Zhuang Yan, Xinyan's older brother, who supposedly died in a car crash 17 years ago.
He's been hiding his identity to catch the mastermind who murdered his parents. But I have to ask about the ethical weirdness here. He is falling in love with a woman who is literally wearing his dead sister's face.
It's what Ali calls the face controversy, and it definitely split the audience. But Ali offers a strong psychological defense centered around context separation.
How does the brain actually decouple a physical face from a childhood memory like that?
Well, think about the timeline. Xingcheng hasn't seen his sister since they were under 10 years old. His adult memories of that face belong entirely to Shen Manning.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, context separation is a real psychological phenomenon where our brains decouple visual stimuli from memory when the context changes entirely. For Xingcheng, the only person he's ever truly known with that adult face is Manning.
So it's like reinstalling a completely different operating system on a vintage computer. The face is just the hardware, but the software he fell in love with is entirely Shen Manning.
Precisely. And it brings up a really profound question about identity, which Ali touches on.
It really makes you think how much of our identity is just the roles we are forced to play. Shen Manning started as a terrified imposter.
But by acting the part of a fearless CEO to survive, she actually became a formidable leader.
Does the mask eventually become the face?
It's a fascinating thought to mull over. Sometimes the roles we play to survive end up revealing exactly who we truly are.
We hoped you enjoyed this episode. If you want to check out more story breakdowns with Ali, the link to her podcast is in the description. We'll see you next time.
Hello. Welcome to Wholesome Monday. Poetry Thursday. Wholesome Monday. Poetry Thursday. Welcome to literature. Sorry, wow. Say that 3 times 5. 3 times 5. 3 times fast. Fuck. My YouTube channel to accompany my Patreon. That sounds like I made my Patreon and then made my YouTube channel. Nix that. Okay, I'm gonna start over. Welcome to Literature and Lingerie, where we will mostly on YouTube be getting up to a lot of literature. Hit that subscribe button, and I think they say you should hit the bell, right? So that you're notified. No. I probably should have vetted that. I mean, it was 1888, so what do I expect? Edgar, what the? God, this strap.